In a world overflowing with information, where every scroll brings another expert and every conversation seems to spark unsolicited advice, it's easy to get lost in the noise, especially when it comes to money. We all want to make smart decisions, to build a future that feels secure, to provide for ourselves and those we love. But how often do we stop and ask, who am I listening to? Whose words are shaping my financial choices? The truth is, not all advice is created equal. And perhaps one of the most important lessons you can learn is this: don't take financial advice from someone who has no finances. It sounds simple, almost obvious, but the reality is that many people fall into the trap of trusting the loudest voice in the room, regardless of its credibility. So let's dig deeper into why this matters and how you can protect your financial future by making wiser choices about whose guidance you follow. Imagine you're standing at a crossroads in your life. Maybe you've just landed your first job and you're excited to start building your savings. Or perhaps you're facing a setback, a sudden expense, an unexpected loss, and you're scrambling to figure out how to get back on track. Whatever your situation, you're searching for answers. You want to know how to budget, where to invest, how to avoid debt, and how to set yourself up for long-term success. This is when advice starts pouring in, from family, friends, colleagues, even strangers online. But pause for a moment and consider, what is the track record of the person giving you advice? Do they truly understand the nuances of financial management, or are they simply repeating what they've heard elsewhere? Are they living the kind of life you aspire to, or are they struggling themselves? Taking financial advice from someone who hasn't managed their own finances successfully is like asking for driving lessons from someone who's never sat behind the wheel. Their intentions may be good, but their experience is lacking, and that can be costly. Think about the people in your circle. There's always that one friend who seems to know a little about everything, who's quick to chime in with opinions about stocks, savings accounts, or credit cards. But if you look closer, you notice they're constantly borrowing money, living paycheck to paycheck, and never quite able to get ahead. Their advice often comes from a place of frustration or wishful thinking, not actual accomplishment. Contrast this with someone who's quietly built a stable financial life. Maybe they don't talk about money much, but you notice they're never stressed about bills. They take thoughtful vacations, and they make choices grounded in long-term planning. They've weathered ups and downs, learned from mistakes, and developed habits that have led to real results. Their advice is rooted in lived experience, not theory. So how do you distinguish between valuable guidance and empty words? The first step is awareness. Pay attention to the source of the advice. Ask yourself, what is this person's financial background? Have they successfully managed debt, invested wisely, or navigated major life expenses? Are they transparent about their own journey, including the mistakes they've made and the lessons they've learned? Do their values align with yours, or are they coming from a place of resentment, fear, or bravado? It's okay to be skeptical. In fact, skepticism is a vital life skill when it comes to money. The stakes are high. Your financial choices can shape your life for years to come. That's why it's crucial to seek out mentors and role models who have demonstrated real success, not just in words, but in action. Look for people who are willing to share both their wins and their failures, who understand that building wealth is a process, not a destination. And remember, financial advice isn't one size fits all. What works for one person may not work for another. Your circumstances, goals, and values are unique. That's why it's important to educate yourself, to read widely, and to consult professionals when necessary. There's power in taking ownership of your financial journey, in asking questions, and in learning from those who have walked the path before you. Let's explore some common scenarios where bad financial advice can lead to trouble. Picture a young couple preparing to buy their first home. They're excited, nervous, and eager to make the right choice. Their parents, who have never owned property themselves, urge them to buy the biggest house you can afford, because that's what they've always heard. But when you look closer, you realize this advice is based on outdated beliefs and wishful thinking, not real experience. If the couple follows this guidance, they might end up overextended, struggling to keep up with mortgage payments, and unable to save for other goals. Or consider a recent graduate who's starting their first job. Their friends encourage them to live a little, to spend freely now and worry about saving later. But many of these friends are drowning in credit card debt and have no emergency fund. If the graduate takes this advice, they could find themselves in the same boat, always behind, never able to get ahead. Even well-meaning advice from relatives can be risky. Maybe your uncle insists that investing is just gambling and urges you to avoid the stock market entirely. But if you look at his own financial history, you see missed opportunities and a lack of growth. By following his advice, you might miss out on decades of potential wealth building. At every stage of life, it's easy to be swayed by the people around us. We want to trust those we love and respect. But when it comes to finances, trust must be earned through demonstrated knowledge and experience. It's not about judging others. It's about protecting yourself and your future. So how do you find reliable financial advice? Start by seeking out credible sources. Read books by respected experts who have a track record of success. Listen to podcasts featuring financial planners and economists who explain concepts in clear, relatable language. Attend workshops or webinars where you can ask questions and learn from people who've managed their own money well. And don't be afraid to consult professionals, certified financial planners, accountants, or advisors who are trained to help you navigate complex decisions. But just as important as seeking out good advice is learning to trust yourself. No one knows your life, your dreams, and your challenges better than you do. Take the time to educate yourself about basic financial principles, budgeting, saving, investing, debt management, and planning for the future. The more you learn, the more confident you'll feel in making decisions that align with your goals. And remember, financial literacy is a lifelong journey. Mistakes are inevitable. Even the most successful people have made errors, missed opportunities, or miscalculated risks. The key is to learn from these experiences, to adjust your strategy, and to keep moving forward. Surround yourself with people who support your growth, who share your values, and who encourage you to think critically. There's also power in vulnerability. Don't be afraid to admit what you don't know, to ask questions, and to seek help when you need it. Too often, pride and fear prevent us from learning. But the most successful people are those who stay curious, who seek out new knowledge, and who build a network of trusted mentors. At the end of the day, your financial journey is yours alone. It's shaped by your choices, your habits, and your willingness to learn. By refusing to take advice from those who haven't mastered their own finances, you protect yourself from costly mistakes and set yourself up for lasting success. So the next time someone offers you financial advice, pause. Ask yourself, is this someone whose life I want to emulate? Do they have the experience and knowledge to back up their words? Are they living proof that their strategy works? If not, politely thank them and move on. Seek out those whose wisdom is grounded in real experience, whose guidance is thoughtful and relevant to your journey. And most importantly, believe in your ability to learn and grow. Financial literacy isn't reserved for experts. It's a skill anyone can develop. Read, listen, ask questions, and surround yourself with people who inspire you. With each step, you'll build confidence, resilience, and a future that reflects your values. In a world full of noise, choose your teachers wisely. Let your financial decisions be guided by those who've walked the path before you, who understand the challenges and celebrate the victories. Trust yourself to discern good advice from bad, and never underestimate the power of learning from those who've truly mastered the art of financial well-being. Your future depends on the choices you make today. Make them wisely. Seek out mentors who embody the values and success you aspire to. Educate yourself, stay curious, and never stop growing. When you do, you'll build a life not just of financial stability, but of freedom, possibility, and purpose. And remember, don't take financial advice from someone who has no finances. Your journey deserves better. Choose wisely and invest in the knowledge that will carry you forward, one thoughtful decision at a time. If these stories and life skills lessons bring you value, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss new content every week. Let's build a positive community together, where we all learn to live better, communicate with confidence, and stay strong through life's challenges.